The top stories tonight in Y News. The Commission on Elections is all set to conduct a special election in the 7th Legislative District of Cavite tomorrow for a seat in the House of Representatives left vacant by former Congressman Crispin Remulla, who was appointed Justice Secretary. The Senate leadership assures safeguards are in place amid concerns from various sectors days after the Senate agreed with the country's entry into the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership or RCEP agreement. The Quezon City Police District assures measures are already in place in time for the commemoration of EDSA People Power Revolution tomorrow. And after 1 year since Russia's attempt to invade Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelenskyy vows to keep up the fight against Russian forces with the help of their allies. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Friday, February 24, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am William Theo. First in the news, all systems go for the February 25 special elections in Cavite according to the Commission on Elections or COMELEC. The poll body said contingency measures have been prepared in case of setbacks during the voting period. Eileen Cerudo will tell us why.
There will be replacement machines on standby in case of problems during the special elections.
Huwag po kayo mag-alala, may naka-standby po kami makina 1:1 in case magkaroon po ng problema, agad-agad po namin itong mapapalitan at tuloy po ang ating halalan anumang oras po.
Over 355,000 residents of 7th District of Cavite are set to cast their votes tomorrow, Saturday, and choose who will be their new representative. The special elections will be conducted after their former district representative Crispin Boying Remulla was appointed as the Department of Justice Secretary.
Siya po ay na-appoint at confirm na po na Secretary of Justice. Kaya po dineklara ng ating House of Representatives na permanently vacant ang kanyang posisyon. At dahil dito gumana po yung provision sa ating Constitution na nagpatawag po ang ating House of Representatives ng special election.
4 candidates are gunning for the seat. Crispin Diego Diaz Remulla, son of Justice Secretary Remulla and National Unity Party member. Jose Angelito Domingo Aguinaldo, Melencio Loyola de Sagun Jr., and Michael Angelo Bautista Santos, who are running as independent candidates. The special elections will be conducted in Tanza, Trece Martires, Indang, and Amadeo. The election paraphernalia to be used in 426 clustered precincts are set to arrive tomorrow morning. A random manual audit or RMA will also be conducted to verify the integrity and accuracy of the vote counting machines. The Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA assured the selection process is random and not predetermined.
In this process, each sampling unit or a clustered precinct in a plain population will have a known chance of being included as sample.
7 out of the 426 clustered precincts will be selected, 1 in Amadeo and Indang, 3 in Tanza, and 2 in Trece Martires. Meanwhile, the Cavite Police Provincial Office released a traffic advisory where heavy traffic is expected during the special elections. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Lawmakers are aware of the concerns of the public regarding the proposed Maharlika Investment Fund. In a recorded speech in House Speaker Martin Romualdez reiterated the importance of the creation of a sovereign fund, especially for the recovery of the country's economy. According to House Speaker Romualdez, the House bill provides criminal sanctions to hold accountable any individual proven to have abused the management of the Maharlika Investment Fund. Any erring official of the Maharlika Investment Corporation can be charged with malversion or plunder, which is a non-bailable offense. Solons are also open to listening to ideas that can be refined and fine-tuned over the course of the legislative process.
As far as the issue of possible misuse and abuse of the fund, let me assure everyone that your House of Representatives is keenly aware of your concern. For this reason, we have seen fit to incorporate adequate safeguards in House Bill number 6608 to ensure that the funds are invested properly. These safeguards are both proactive and punitive.
The Land Transportation Office, or LTO, is looking for a solution to provide a reasonable fee structure for driver's license applications over anti-poor remarks of a lawmaker from the current process. JP Nunez tells us why.
Jason Valencia, a delivery rider from Quezon City, took a theoretical and practical driving course as a prerequisite to get a new driver's license from the Land Transportation Office, or LTO. According to Jason, he spent more than 5,000 pesos to get his non-professional driver's license, which is too expensive for an ordinary citizen like him.
Opo, masyadong mahal po kasi lalo na kung mag-umpisa ka pa lang. Yung mura lang talaga. Siguro sabihin natin 2,000, ganun, pwede na po yun.
Pampanga 4th District Representative Ana York Bondok stated that the current process to get a new driver's license is anti-poor. The lawmaker filed a House resolution to conduct an investigation over alleged excessive cost to avail new driver's license. In her resolution, the Solon said getting a new driver's license costs around 9,500 pesos or even higher. Representative Bondok believes that it was important for Filipino citizens who needs to get a living as public transport driver or delivery rider. On the other hand, LTO Chief J.R. Tugade argues that the fee for application for driver's license is not anti-poor.
If the question is the cost for securing a driver's license anti-poor, hindi po siya anti-poor. Ang cost lang po talaga ng student permit na charge po ng LTO is 100 pesos for the application fee and 150 pesos for the student permit fee. Pag naman po yung student permit na ay co-convert po to non-pro, ang fee lang po talaga na charge ng LTO is 585 pesos for the license fee and another 100 pesos for the application fee.
However, the official also believes that the current fee from driving school is too much for applicants.
I share the sentiment of everyone. Tama po kayo. Yan rin po yung naririnig ko, yan rin po yung na-experience ng aking mga kakilala. Mahal po ang singil ng driving school at kailangan po talaga nating tignan.
The agency said there is a technical working group already working since December to recommend a reasonable fee structure for driving schools. LTO vows to provide solution over alleged excessive costs of new driver's license next month.
Hindi po matatapos yung buwan ng March, magkakaroon po ng solusyon ang ating LTO. The objective of the committee is to come up with a reasonable fee structure na susundin po ng ating mga driving schools.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Philippine government is now preparing for the participation in the recently approved free trade agreement. The Department of Trade and Industry hopes that the investors now are more attractive to establish businesses in the country. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
The Philippines will now deposit the instruments of ratification of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP agreement, to the Secretariat of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN. DTI Assistant Secretary Alan Hepty said that it will take 2 months for the RCEP to be activated in the Philippines. They are also preparing for the adjustments that will be taken, especially for the tariff of products that will be lowered or removed in the coming years.
In the meantime po, on the part of the Executive Department, we will have to prepare the necessary issuances that includes, number one, yung executive agreement na kung saan yung ating schedule of tariff commitments will be attached, no? And that executive agreement will be the basis also of the Bureau of Customs in issuing the necessary issuances para ma-implement na.
DTI said that only 33 out of more than 11,000 tariff lines will be included in the RCEP, and sensitive products like onions and rice are not part of the new free trade agreement. ASEC Hefty also noted that the country would now be more attractive to investors. Local manufacturers also avail of materials with lower cost like electronics.
Basically, sinasabi natin sa ating mga partners, possible investors na pasok na kayo sa Pilipinas, dito kayo mag-invest kasi ginawa namin, no, yung mga necessary reforms para mas madali ang pagnegosyo nyo dito.
Philippines Institute for Development Studies or PIDS also said that exporters will now have more opportunities.
We want our government to fight for our exporter. This is it. This is how the government fought for our exporter, by negotiating.
PIDS noted that the Philippines will gain from the RCEP but it will take time.
Yung pakinabang na mararamdaman ng mga tao dahan-dahan. Problema, since it's so dahan-dahan, hindi nila ma-attribute sa RCEP yung mga pakinabang. And then if they see some disadvantage, immediately i-blame nila dun sa RCEP. Yan ang imbalance na nakikita ko.
Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And foreign news abroad. After 1 year since Russia's attempt to invade Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelenskyy vows to keep up the fight against Russian forces with the help of their allies. Marvi Delphine will give us the details live. Good evening, Marvi.
Good evening, Elsie. Global support received by Ukraine has added to President Zelensky's motivation to win the war against Russia. 141 countries have voted in the most recent United Nations General Assembly, or UNGA, for the withdrawal of the Russian troops in Ukraine. Ministers of the G7 and the European Union discussed plans on how they will continue to support Ukraine, as well as putting pressure on Russia. According to White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre, the U.S. will also renew its sanctions against Russia after 1 year of its invasion.
The United States will implement sweeping sanctions against key sectors that generate revenue for Putin, go after more Russian banks, Russia's defense and technology industry, and actors in third-party countries that are attempting to backfill and evade our sanctions.
She also said that the U.S. plans to announce another aid package that will support Ukraine's economy and security. Furthermore, countries in the European Union, including Spain and Germany, have announced that they will be sending more military equipment to Ukraine. Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki added that Western countries should be more generous with supplying Ukraine with weapons and equipment. China's Deputy Ambassador Dai Bing said in the assembly that sending weapons will not bring peace and will only increase tension. However, he said that China will remain vigilant and play a constructive role in resolving the crisis. Over the past year, Ukraine has received military assistance from more than 32 countries, which included helicopters, drones, and grounded weapons and vehicles. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Marvi Delphine, reporting live from Australia. After the Taliban restricted Afghan women's human rights further at the end of 2022, many aid organizations withdrew their funding to Afghanistan, harming the most vulnerable part of Afghanistan's population, according to the International Crisis Group, a non-governmental organization. The Taliban restricted women's rights by limiting women and girls' access to education and banning women from working at NGOs. G7 donors, which provided most of the $3 billion in humanitarian funding for Afghanistan in 2022, threatened unspecified future consequences after the ban was announced. The reaction of global leaders to the Taliban's policies disrupted the world's largest aid operation, as half of the Afghanistan's population currently suffers from acute hunger. About 11.6 million women and girls were impacted by the reductions in aid. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, William.
Thank you, Elsie. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. Days after the Senate agreed with the country's entry into the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership or RCEP agreement, the Senate leadership assures safeguards are in place amid concerns from various sectors. Harleen Delgado will tell us why.
Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri made official today the Senate's concurrence in the ratification of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership or RCEP as he signed a final copy of its resolution. In a press conference with officials from the Department of Trade and Industry or DTI, Zubiri and Senate President pro tempore Loren Legarda reiterated the benefits that the country will gain from the world's largest free trade agreement. They say the agreement will create 1.7 million jobs in 8 years and will help reduce the country's poverty incidence. The two lawmakers assured there are safeguards and trade remedies in place should there be a surge in imports or unfair trade practices. Zubiri says an advisory board will be formed where all stakeholders are included. A special oversight committee has been formed in the Senate that will monitor the implementation of the RCEP following concerns from various sectors.
Rest assured, babantayan talaga namin sila. Not only agriculture but also the DTI, all the other departments. Kukulitin namin every quarter ito mga ito. Ano nangyari sa pondo? Baka maging savings na yun o baka mapunta sa iba.
Saan ka nakita po ng ganyan sa kasaysayan ng Senado na lahat ng hinihingi ng mga sektor na hindi raw nakonsulta sa nakaraang 10 taon sa negosasyon ay sinama po natin sa almost 15-page concurring resolution. Dapat gumalaw ng maliksi ang DA at ng DTI at lahat ng ahensya ng gobyerno.
But should the RCEP bring damage to local industries, Zubiri says they are ready to recommend to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to withdraw the Philippines from the agreement.
If kung mukhang dehado tayo and there's an influx of goods from all over that swamp our manufacturing, swamp our garments, swamp our agriculture, then definitely a review will be in place. But let's look forward. Why are we looking at the worst? Let's look at the best. Palagi tayong the worst. We look at the best that may come. Diba?
The signed copy of the Senate's resolution concurring with the RCEP ratification will be transmitted to Malacanang. For its part, the DTI hopes Congress will increase their budget next year to further support farmers and exporters in the country. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, a lawmaker wants the Senate to investigate the plan of the Bureau of Corrections or Bucor to build its new headquarters at the Masungi Geo Reserve in Tanay, Rizal. Senator Nancy Binay filed Resolution 495 directing the Senate Committee on Tourism, which she chairs, to conduct an inquiry on the issue after the management of the Geo Reserve expressed alarm over the Bucor's project. The senator noted that while the initiatives of the Bucor to have a new headquarters and housing for its personnel is reasonable, it is important to weigh the possible consequences of building its headquarters in an ecotourism site like the Masungi Geo Reserve, which may affect the environment and tourism in the country. In other news, one of the suspects in the February 19 killing of a tourist from New Zealand in Makati City has surrendered to authorities but denied involvement in the said crime. Janice Inhente will tell us why.
Hours after the authorities released the identity of one of the suspects in the New Zealander's lay in Makati City on February 19, 25-year-old John Mar Manalo surrendered to the Southern Police District because of fear of threat to his life. Before this, the SPD issued a reward money worth 500,000 pesos for anyone who can point to the whereabouts of the suspects in the shooting of Nicolas Peter Stacy, the New Zealander national. But Manalo denies involvement in the crime.
Nakita ko po na may reward po, na natakot din po ako, kaya mas pinili ko po na sumuko po sa SPD para sa akin pong safetyness na na gusto ko rin pong patunayan na wala po akong kasalanan, malinis po yung pangalan ko. Nung nangyari po yun, galing po ako ng outing. Bali po tulog po ako nung gabi na yun. May mga tao pong makakapagpatunay na tulog po ako nung araw na yun.
SPD released the identity of John Mar Manalo after he was identified by witnesses, including Stacy's girlfriend, through Rogues Gallery of Makati City Police. According to the SPD, the said suspect has a standing warrant of arrest for robbery with intimidation of person filed at Branch 12 in Malolos City, Bulacan, issued in September 2022. According to Police Major General Jonel Estomo, acting Deputy Chief for Operation of NCRPO, the suspect was pointed as the gunman by the 5 witnesses.
Ngayon, siya mismo ay sumuko. So, natakot siya. Tapos ngayon, sinasabi na denied dahil ang sabi niya, he wants to clear his name. So, depende na yan, that is an alibi. Kasi 5 witness ang nagsabi, nagturo na siya ang gunman.
Meanwhile, the authorities are also investigating the identity of the driver of the motorcycle used for the robbery. Makati City Police is now preparing the case of robbery with homicide against Manalo based on the affidavit submitted by the witnesses as well as the girlfriend of the New Zealander. Janice and Hente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The public can now directly go to the registration center to avail of a Philippine Identification System or PhilSys ID. This is after the Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA disabled its online registration portal to implement a walk-in system in the country. During the height of the pandemic, Filipinos needed to pre-register through a website before proceeding to the registration. According to PSA Undersecretary and National Statistician Dennis Mapa, with the help of the walk-in system, it would be a convenience to the Filipinos with more easing and faster process. In the latest data of the agency last February 20, there are 76,681,716 Filipinos who already registered for the national ID. The retrieval operation of the remains of the 4 passengers of the Cessna plane 340A near the Mayon volcano's crater was slightly delayed because of the steep and rocky slopes where the 4 bodies of the passengers are located. Alan Manansala will tell us why.
For now, the rescuers are focusing on interconnecting all the ropes and anchors that they will use to effectively bring down the remains of the 4 passengers aboard the Cessna 340A. Nevertheless, the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology or PHIVOLCS said that the rescuers need to consider accelerating their operation following the volcanic threat that may endanger them while in Mount Mayon. Although the team has been able to perform a documentation of the debris of the Cessna 340A and the remains of the 4 passengers, the retrieval operation has been temporarily halted as per the instruction of the team leader of the Energy Development Corporation as well the search and rescue force conducting the operation. The rocks where the bodies were found were temporarily very small and slippery, which contributed to the delay of the operation. For now, the rescuers are focusing on interconnecting all the ropes and anchors that they will use to effectively bring down the remains of the 4 passengers of the 340A aircraft. In the video and images shared by COMELEC Mayor Carlos Baldo a while ago, we can see the steep slope of the rescuers' trail while they need to crawl and climb vertically while hooked onto ropes. It is also noticeable from the images how there is almost zero visibility in the area because of the thick smog and clouds at the top of Mount Mayon, and is one of the reasons that makes up for the difficulty and delayed retrieval operation. This is also the reason why the authorities decided to not use a chopper but to instead bring down the remains of the 4 passengers by land one by one.
So, tanggalin na natin yung Missy, i-deduct na din natin yung sa western side ng Anuling na talaga tayo by foot. Hindi feasible yung chopper kasi baka magkaroon pa tayo ng panibagong problema kapag ginamitan natin ng chopper. Hindi viable doon sa lugar.
Immediately after the reported delay of the retrieval operation, the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology or PHIVOLCS made a statement about the ongoing operation in Mount Mayon. According to senior science specialist and resident volcanologist Dr. Paul Alanis of the Mount Mayon Observatory in PHIVOLCS, Mount Mayon is still in alert level 2, which means that there is a possibility of phreatic eruption and rockfalls near its crater. This a reminder that the IMT needs to consider during the operation.
As much as possible po madaliin dahil for the safety of our yung rescue personnel, but at the same time po mahirap naman po madaliin sila dahil baka naman may magkamali at lalong mapahamak. So I think that's up to them na po. They are naman po highly professional.
Still, PHIVOLCS confirmed that there was no recorded sign of volcanic activities since a week ago, as well as any volcanic earthquake recorded in the last 24 hours.
Ngayon, as of 5 a.m. kanina, wala naman po kami na-detect na volcanic earthquake. So, relatively tahimik po siya pagdating sa mga lindol. Pero nakataas pa rin po ang alert level 2 sa paligid ng Mayong volcano. Yung steaming naman po niya is moderate. So, ibig sabihin po nun, may lumalabas talaga na usok. Normal naman po yan dahil active volcano siya.
Alan Manansala, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Department of Health is offering a pre-service scholarship program for priority allied health courses in medical technology, pharmacy, and diploma in midwifery for the year 2023. The objective of the said program is to ensure an adequate supply of service-oriented human resources for health for deployment in DOH priority areas. The scholarship packages include fees, book allowance, uniform, miscellaneous living expenses, board and lodging, and transportation. The scholars are required to offer their service or return service obligation to DOH identified priority areas. To qualify, the applicant must be a Filipino citizen with good moral character, has finished high school or senior high, and individual from low-income family. To avail of the said pre-service scholarship program of the DOH, visit the DOH Center for Development in your nearest areas for initial and final screening. In other news, the Quezon City Police District is set to deploy over 500 policemen in EDSA People Power Monument. This is in time for the commemoration of EDSA People Power Revolution tomorrow. After Kadapan Jr. explains why.
The Quezon City Police District aims to maintain peace and orderliness during the commemoration of EDSA People Power Revolution tomorrow. This as 11 groups were already issued permits to conduct programs and activities in the EDSA People Power Monument along with its commemoration. QCPD District Director Police Brigadier General Nicolas Torre III says measures are already in place for the said event.
Bukas, we are deploying around 500 to 600 troops from Quezon City Police. Meron naman kaming mga maneuver coordinating instructions. So, pag may pangangailangan na mag-move ng additional personnel sa isang area, madali nang gawin yun. Nakahanda naman kami doon.
The QCPD further says that the groups that will conduct activities were issued guidelines in conducting their programs. Police Brigadier General Torre also confirms no threat foreseen for the entire event.
Walang threat. Kausap natin yung mga grupo, ang mga leader ng mga grupo na magsasagawa ng mga activities doon. So we have already coordinated with them last week at napag-usapan na ang terms of reference, hanggang saan ang boundaries, ano ang mga pwedeng gawin, anong oras ang limitations, hanggang saan ang mga pwedeng i-set up na mga stage.
Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Senate President Juan Miguel Mig Zubiri says Filipinos must learn the lessons of the EDSA People Power Revolution regardless of political color. Asked by reporters for his message on the commemoration of the revolt's 37th anniversary, the Senate leader says Filipinos should use the lessons from the past to build a better future for the country.
I think what is important here is learning the lessons of the past. Whatever political color you may be, kasi I know whatever I say, you put a political spin to it. Kaya, I'm very careful. We should move forward, look forward, with no politics, set aside politics, get together, unite with one another, and work for the benefit of our people.
Meanwhile, Senate President Pro Tempore Loren Legarda says the lessons of the revolution show how the country values democracy and free speech.
To me, it means giving value to our democracy and our freedom.
Federal rules state that milk alternatives such as soy, oat, almond, and other substitutes can continue to label themselves as milk. Jane Robles explains why live. Yes, Jane?
Good evening, Elsie. For a long time, dairy producers have been demanding the Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, the crackdown on plant-based drinks and other alternatives being called milk, as it concerned the real definition of what milk is. To address this, the FDA released a draft guidance that suggests that alternative options should name their products explicitly with the plant source included, like soy milk. Additional nutrition labels are also being recommended to let consumers know when such drinks contain lower levels of nutrients like calcium, magnesium, or vitamin D compared to dairy milk. The FDA has also commented that consumers are aware that milk substitutes like plant-based milk are alternatives for milk, and they are consuming such products for specific reasons like allergies, intolerances, and lifestyle choices. Meanwhile, in the United States, almond milk remains as the top leading variety with oat milk, following with increased sales. However, regular dairy and milk options are still the most frequently purchased. Elsie?
Thank you, Jane Robles, reporting live from Vietnam. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Elsie Marcos, live from Auckland, New Zealand. Good evening.
Flex Fuel Petroleum Corporation President Bong Medel has charged Jinky Santa Isabel with cyber libel case in Taguig City Prosecutor's Office. Santa Isabel is the main complainant in Flex Fuel's syndicated estafa case. The case was filed on February 17, but it was only yesterday, February 23, that the subpoena was received by Santa Isabel. Violation of Section 4 of the Republic Act number 10175 in relation to Article 355 of the Revised Penal Code, or an unlawful prohibited act of libel. The first preliminary investigation in the case was set in March 15 in Taguig City in the Office of Senior Assistant City Prosecutor David Michael Go. We have tried to get a statement from Medel and Flex Fuel regarding the issue, but they have not yet replied. The Bureau of Internal Revenue, or BIR, is considering creating a separate unit in the agency that focuses on international tax collection. This includes the onshore transactions of global e-commerce firms and the plug of billions of pesos of tax leakage. According to BIR Commissioner Romeo Lumagi Jr., the boosting of the international tax collection is still in the process, and the agency wants to study the whole context of the creation of the unit and its function. Lumagi added that the agency needs to establish strong practice for international tax to look into transfer pricing, base erosion, and profit shifting. Our kasambahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
Before we close, we will leave you with a word giving glory to God from the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 18. It says, "For not he that condemneth himself is approved, but whom the Lord commendeth." And those are the reasons behind the news, February 24, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.